That's quite a claim, Mr. Wright. Perhaps you will allow me a question. Tell us exactly what lie this witness has told to the court. Lied about what she saw, where she saw it, the order of events. I'm thinking the order... No. She lied about what she saw, in other words. She didn't see Miss Sky using that emergency phone call. It does seem hard to imagine how she could, not very logical. Mr. Wright, I hate to bother you while you're celebrating your victory, but why would Star lie about that? Why would she say that my sister had tried to use the phone but failed? It doesn't make any sense. Why lie about something so insignificant? I mean, maybe she really did see... I say no room for doubts here. You ordered the patooey on rice. Mr. Wright, I thought you had something there. That's been where she saw it. The Sky tried to use the emergency phone, but it was out of order. What is significant about this fact? Nothing. Therefore, it would be pointless for Miss Star to lie about it. Pointless to lie? Let's see. But, say the witness did actually see Miss Sky using the emergency phone. It would mean Miss Star witnessed the crime from a different location. A different location? Now, that's a pointless lie if I ever heard one. Before you call my lie pointless, at least let me tell it. Let me ask a question to our clever wordsmith, Mr. Wright. Just where was the witness when she saw the crime? Testimony we've heard until now points in one direction. Back here? She was here, she could see the emergency phone. That's true, that solved the mystery. That would allow her to see the emergency phone, yes. But, if she was there, she wouldn't have been able to arrest her well before she dialed the cell phone. Got my speed? I can run 150 meters in 9 seconds, see now. Is that really that fast? Not as fast as your witty... This is the only place where she could have been. The security guard room? Indeed, the security guard room is in the underground parking lot. It is well positioned. It is built on the second floor, so you can see the entire lot. Should have been able to see the emergency phone from there. But why there? There are so many other places where she could have seen the phone. Not in this case, Your Honor. The witness, not being part of the prosecution office, couldn't park in A block. Only place where she could have seen the crime and the back of the partition is here. I remember in your testimony you said you brought a lunch to your boyfriend in security guard room, yes? Well, Miss Starr, how many years have I been getting the better of men? To think that the tables could be turned. Today a man has got the better of Angel Starr. Order! Order, witness! What have you done? You used to be a detective. You should know better. I'm not turning back. The guilty will be punished, and I'll do what I must to make sure justice prevails. The guilty. Is she talking about Miss Sky? Mr. Wright, does this strike you as odd? Why did Miss Starr lie? It doesn't make any sense. Huh? She could have just said she saw the crime from the security guard station. It wouldn't change anything. Exactly. This photograph tells all. It was the defendant who stabbed the victim. The truth still stands. It still stands? I disagree, Mr. Edgeworth. What? If a witness is found to be lying, they are guilty of perjury. She knows this. She wouldn't risk that without a good reason. So, tell us what her reason was, Mr. Wright. Huh? Me? Who else? Mr. Wright, let's review what we know. Miss Starr witnessed the crime from the security guard station. But she lied and said that she was in the B block. It must make a vital difference, but what would it change? Angle of the crime, distance of the crime, difference in lighting. I guess the angle, because it's looking down instead of straight ahead. Why, the angle of which she saw the crime occurred would change. The angle? What do you mean? Well, the security guard station is on the second floor, and she would have sort of a more 3D view of the crime. And this is important. Why? It changes the distance between her and the scene of the crime. My condolences, Mr. Wright, but one look at the floor plan, and it is quite clear. The distance between the scene of the crime and the guard station is 30 feet. I don't see how that could change what she could see. What she saw is not in question here. What matters is the time it would take her to reach the scene of the crime. Miss Starr, you witnessed the crime from the security guard station. Now, how long did it take you to go from there to the scene of the crime where you arrested Miss Skye? Well, witness? You. Yes. You ordered the squid wheels, but quality of my lunches has gone from low to inedible. I was bringing a PB&J lunch with fresh boysenberry jam to my boyfriend. Huh? Boysenberry for your boyfriend? He wasn't in the station, so I waited. I witnessed the crime from the glass-walled station. And before I knew what was going on, I found myself running towards the scene. But the door was locked. I couldn't open it. That's why I had to go through the visitor parking lot in Block B. That's quite a detour. It probably took me at least 5 minutes to get to the scene of the crime. 5 minutes? This changes things considerably. But it was that woman over there in the defendant's chair who stabbed him. I know it. I have photographic evidence. I swear it. I swear on my finest plastic spork. You have a point. And that spork is a wonderful invention. Would you like another caviar lunch? Absolutely! Uh-oh. Mr. Wright, we have to do something. Do I have any evidence to stop this? I think the fact that the body died in 3 minutes after Edwards got his call? 5 minutes between the witness of the murder and the arrest. Think about it. You could make pasta in that amount of time if you make it in Dante. I got lunchboxes that tie pasta and knots, rookie. A 5-minute blank. Isn't that strange? Strange. If you were a criminal, what would you do with 5 minutes, Your Honor? Well, I guess I'd flee the scene. Hey! Don't get the wrong idea. I didn't kill anyone. But you have the instincts of a killer. You would run. But this time was different. Miss Skye dawdled at the scene of the crime. She even had her picture taken. No true criminal would act this way. It's inconceivable. Yeah! Well then, it seems we've come to the end of this testimony. The witness has a grudge against the defendant and a blank in her testimony. Mr. Edwards, is the next witness ready to go? Unfortunately, it appears I appear to have overestimated this witness on the account of her professional history. We did it. We screwed that can shut, Mr. Wright. That was too close. I'm afraid the cough-up queen has been dethroned. And with that, court is adjourned. That went horribly. Mr. Edgeworth, you ordered the squid wheels, right? That once you tried to foist off on me. I prefer not to take the defense team's leftovers. Anything else to say? I might be able to save you. I have decisive evidence. What was that? Is this another one of her trick lunchboxes? My apologies, but we have no further questions to ask of you, Miss Starr. Ah. Is that your jumbo lunchbox? Woohoo! A triple-decker! Out of deference to the witness's determination, I'll allow one more testimony. Let's hear about the decisive evidence. Like the Lunchland motto says, you won't be disappointed. What's she going to pull out of her lunchbox this time? Come on! Just end it already! I want to call it a night. I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene. And now, to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I not bring this up? 2 types of blood were found on the shoe. One, of course, was the victim's. The other blood type matches that of the defendant, Miss Lana Skye. The shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence. What? There was blood found on that shoe? Try Lunchland for all your lunch and decisive evidence needs. Witness, what is the meaning of this? Why is this the first time I've heard of this evidence? Simple. I've already said I don't trust you with evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. That's why I took the liberty of investigating this myself. And you had blood tests performed. Didn't I mention I have 3 boyfriends in forensics? In any case, Your Honor, I can't accept this as evidence. What? You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. In other words, this shoe is illegal evidence, at least for the time being. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. Edgeworth sure is celebrating. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. Don't forget, I used to be a detective. As I mentioned previously, this shoe has already been tested by a member of the forensics department. As you can see, it was approved by the police department as of today. Even the general public can produce official evidence, Miss Edgeworth. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. Edgeworth is looking pretty solid. You could at least study some evidence law, really. The prosecution complaint notwithstanding, it appears that the evidence satisfies the first rule of evidence law. However, it seems you have yet another count against you, witness. Anything to ensure that the guilty are properly judged. Very well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. God dang it! Why did you lie about those 5 minutes? I guess you could say I just wanted people to look at the results. The results? How many times do I have to say this? I saw the chief prosecutor stab the victim before my very own eyes. Compared to that, a 5-minute blank means nothing. Then why didn't you tell the truth? Don't make me laugh. We're dealing with the most untrustworthy of vile lot known as prosecutors. Falsified evidence, arranging testimonies, erasing and manipulating evidence. When you fight monsters, you need to use every trick in the book. This, when the suspect is admitting she did it. But false testimony is the most despicable crime of all, Miss Starr. Let's just get this over with. And, oh, back. And now it's the victim's shoe. Did I not bring this up? And you found the shoe at the scene of the crime. I detained Chief Prosecutor and notified the police department. I wanted to make myself useful while I waited for the police to arrive. So, like an ill-trained pooch, you snuck off with a shoe. I was afraid someone would erase the Chief Prosecutor's crime. The shoe was my secret weapon if that should happen. See the fashionable basket I have here? It carries more than lunchboxes, gentlemen. I'm happy for you And your lunchbox bag, really. In any case, you removed valuable evidence from the scene of the crime. Now tell us what you did next. 2 types of blood were found in the shoe of one of the victims. So you brought it to the forensics department. If you're gonna submit something as evidence in court, you need it approved. To do that, evidence must be analyzed by a forensics expert, and she got away with her little coup because she used to be a detective. The shoe does appear to have bloodstains on it. Well, the man was stabbed after all. And the blood belonged to the victim, Detective Goodman. As I said, there were 2 types of blood found on the shoe. The other blood type matched that of the defendant, Miss Lana Sky. You can't say for sure the blood belonged to the defendant without a blood test. You claim to know something about blood tests, rookie. Huh? Well, speak up. Well, blood comes in 4 types, A, B, O, and AB. However, you can't tell from blood test whether a murder was committed in cold blood. That's just a figure of speech, Mr. Wright. Actually, we can differentiate between millions of types with all the blood tests out there, which means that we can more or less narrow any sample of blood down to just one person. Or so I hear. That's pretty specific. If I had a little more time, I would have gotten a DNA test result. But they said there was very little doubt it could be anyone but Miss Lana Sky. So the suspect's blood was found on the victim's shoe. That ties her directly to the death of Detective Goodman. Afraid he was going to say that. The shoe proves it's flawless detective evidence. I can't let this evidence go through without a fight. You ordered the peppered fish guts, right? Some like it hot, Mr. Wright. Some like your client. She's in enough hot water to make a whole vat of soup. Mr. Wright, do you or do you not have a problem with the shoe? Problem? This is critical. Is there a problem with the victim's shoe? If I'm not imagining things, I'd say there is one critical problem with this evidence, a clear contradiction. A gleam in your eye. Yeah, you're still young, rookie. I'll give you the peppered fish guts now, but you couldn't take the heat, could you? Let's hear what Mr. Wright has to say. What is contradictory about the victim's shoe? Okay, I'm looking for the magnifying glass to turn yellow, but I need to actually hit X. I wonder if you noticed. There was blood on the bottom of this shoe. Don't mess with me, rookie. Or it'll be your blood on the bottom of my shoe. Indeed, there is quite a bit of blood on the bottom of the shoe. It makes sense, the victim was stabbed with a knife. What could possibly be contradictory about the blood on the bottom of the shoe? Well, one, there's no blood here. The problem lies in the footprint. The footprint? Note that the bottom of the victim's shoe is covered in blood. Then, isn't it strange? Why weren't any bloody footprints found at the scene of the crime? Aha! As you can see, there were no traces of any such footprints at the scene of the crime. That contradicts your claim about this shoe. This picture only shows part of the floor, so there could have been bloody footprints. Then where are they, Mr. Edgeworth? Because we checked the scene and found nothing of the sort. Order! 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 Well, witness. What? Huh? Great going, Mr. Wright, but it's true, the lack of a footprint is a contradiction, but then we have to ask why there wasn't a footprint. Oh, that's true. Where has to be the reason why there wasn't a footprint? Think, Mr. Wright, think! Hey, I don't know why it's not there. Just good at finding contradictions. What? I see. Now I get it. Get what? Our witness is more devious than I gave her credit for. We were hoodwinked at the very end. But she slipped. There is one vital hint to the truth of her testimony. What are you talking about? Think back when she told us about apprehending the suspects. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She kicked my hand aside. Oh, she knocked my hand aside, kicked over an oil drum. Oh, she's beautiful, but deadly a predator, this one. A leopard woman. I thought that it was a strange thing for the normally cool-headed chief to do. No kidding. Now, witness, allow me to ask a very simple question. This oil drum, was it empty? Oh, that. I'm not sure I like your attitude, Mr. Edgeworth. Though apparently you're not the slowest conveyor belt in the lunchbox factory. Witness, well, was the oil drum empty? The oil drum kicked over by the chief prosecutor was brimming with water. Water? What does that mean? Still don't get it, Mr. Wright. Do you want to know the reason she kicked it over? The real reason? Aha! You don't mean... Yes, the suspect knocked over the oil drum for one reason and one reason alone. To erase bloodstains that would become evidence against her. What?! That ties things up quite nicely. The bloodstain left on the victim's shoe tied quite clearly to the motor. Then, after the deed was done, she kicked over the oil drum to erase the telltale signs. Why? What? Why? That's the prosecutor's specialty, erasing evidence. That reminds me, Miss Sky's right hand was hurt. Didn't she say she cut herself when she stabbed him? So that's when my sister's blood got on the shoe. Well, I see no reason to prolong this trial. Mr. Wright, do something, please! What? What can I do? Your sister has confessed to the crime, and she tried to conceal it. But... Enough. There is no need for further debate. The verdict, Your Honor. Very well. But Angel Star is on the prosecutor's side! She could have been lying about the water! This court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Sky. Hold it! Little girl, what did you just say? Me? Did you say that I, Angel Star, was on the prosecuting side? Well, yeah, you are! You're saying that my sister hid evidence by erasing bloody footprints. Well... I thought you had your fill, but here you are demanding a second helping. Another lunchbox. A lunchbox called evidence. Wait. Witness, don't tell me you have something else. The time for deliberations is past. Any further comments, and you will be held in contempt of court. Your threats don't scare the cops up, Queen. Look at this. A photograph? A photograph? I had it just in case anyone had the gall to suggest that the witness's shoe didn't belong to the victim. I see no room for error in this evidence. Mr. Wright, wait! Look at the asphalt in this photo. Hey, it's clearly wet. Erasing the last trace of doubt from the court's mind, immediately after the murder, the crime scene was washed with water. I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I guess I couldn't help after all. It's not your fault. I knew I couldn't win this case from the beginning, and it seems that this is what your sister wanted anyways. Sorry, Mia. Right, wet or not, don't be so quick to throw in the towel. Get yourself up off the asphalt, take another good look. Don't give up, not until the bitter end. This is the last piece of evidence. Very well. This time I'd like to declare the verdict for good.
Objection!
Your Honor, wait! What is with you people? Can't I handle down my verdict in peace anymore? What is it? Can it wait? No, it can't. Then it will be too late. Look at this photograph. The last one submitted. This trial isn't over until we get each piece of evidence properly considered. So, Wright, are you saying there's a problem with this latest piece of evidence? Yeah, I'll think later. Yeah, there's a problem. Right or wrong, I've got to go ahead with this. I suppose since we've come this far, we should give every claim a fair shake. Very well, Mr. Wright. Show the court the problem with this photograph. There's something in the tailpipe. There's the shoe. There's the water. I'm gonna say this thing in the tailpipe. The problem is, in this photograph, it's here. What's this? There's something poking out of the car's muffler. Wait just a moment, Mr. Edgeworth. Your Honor. You just said muffler? However, I see no trace of a muffler or a scarf of any kind in this photograph. A muffler is also a part of a car or a motorcycle, Your Honor. Just think of it as the part where the exhaust system... pipe. I see, and... I see. What's that suspicious-looking cloth sticking out of the car's muffler? So what if there's something sticking out of the muffler? What does that have to do with this case? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Sorry, Miss Starr, but it's not going to be that easy. In fact, you already told us why it's no important to this case. You said as much in your testimony. What? Let's hear what Mr. Wright has on his mind. Tell us why you think this piece of cloth in the muffler is related to this case. Well, it's because she said muffler. Oh, I need the phone! The word muffler was overheard during the call made. Miss Starr, recall your testimony for the court. Yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. Muffler? Could it be that the muffler you heard mentioned was actually the exhaust pipe? If so, that means this piece of cloth is vital evidence. Well, it seems we have to suspend the proceedings. Suspend? I find myself wondering about this piece of cloth. If we leave any questions unanswered here, we may do a disservice to the law. Have the car at the crime scene inspected at once and bring me that cloth. The verdict will wait until after we've seen all the evidence. Agreed? I suppose so. That was close. But we made it. God, I've been shot! I don't know why there's fireworks. But we made it at least for now. The court will adjourn for another 30-minute recess. It's lunchtime, after all. He's still hungry?! Okay, well, the fireworks happened at just the right time for this actual thing to end. Oh, and I'm calling it quits for the night. Good God, until next time, and hopefully there won't be fireworks in the background. Good night, everybody.